everyone, welcome to Stand Up Analysis. We're here with Dana. We're going to be going over her set from the last laughter party, talking about what went well, what didn't go well, and maybe how we could make things go better. Dana, any context you want to give us about this set or the show, etc., etc.?
Um, I will say I've already watched it once and felt a little bit cringe, but that's on me because I did make a lot of last minute changes. So I think there's some obvious stuff that could be better that is solely on me for
Oh, okay,
changing it too soon.
okay, sure. Okay, let's dive into it. Before you self-flagellate. Uh,
Hello, hello. Whoa, that's my name. Sounds cool when someone else says it.
Great. So, how do you feel about sort of like your entrance moment? I always like to harp on these since this is the audience getting to know us.
Um, it made me regret my outfit choice.
Why?
I don't know, it just looks like kind of like saggy and drapey. It's okay. It's just uh that's fine. I don't know. I guess I should have something on hand for like someone saying my name because that seems like it happens. But I was like, oh, that's cool. Somebody knows it. It would have been funnier if I was like, oh, cool, somebody knows my name. Um,
I like
but yeah.
how we handled it. Also, cut to all future sets of Dana's. Well, she'll be coming on in a full ball gown, super tight and whatever that term is. I forget the
Well,
term.
I mean, I like literally I asked you the first time I was growing up, I was like, well, like, what should I wear? Like, I shouldn't wear stripes or I shouldn't wear, and you were like, hey, as long as it's not like a solid white or black, you're probably
Oh,
fine. So I just immediately turn into Ace Ventura. I don't know.
sure. Hey,
But I've now seen some other women doing stand up and I was like looking at what they're wearing and I was like, wow, a skirt? Like really? But can't the audience see up it?
I won't comment. Okay. Performative wise, I like our vibe walking in. We're super friendly. We sort of like established that hey, we're gonna be kind of chill with the audience. We maybe could have fueled their applause more, but if we're trying to set a chill vibe, I think we achieved it. And there's just one moment of us doing the pre-show business where we sort of get unlocked away from them, like here. We're kind of
Hello,
to
hello.
S&M.
Whoa.
That slight moment when we look down and move the mic back, we could just as easily be connected to the audience. Like, hey, how we doing? Great. Oh yeah, thank you. Hey, and we could be doing the business without disconnecting completely.
Oh, that's my name. Sounds cool when someone else says it.
Even just calling out what happened. Great. We get to laugh. Yeah, we could have a more clever canned response, but I like that. I'm digging it.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out for this holiday show. And just bring up the idea of holidays. Did anyone go home for Thanksgiving? Woo, yeah, okay. Did you get bombarded with questions by your family? No, you're shaking your head. No, they don't ask you any questions? Wow, you lucky dog.
I
Okay.
kind of wish I had like repeated back what he said because
Oh,
like just so like everybody else like knew what was happening and I think that would have given me time to like think of something more clever.
yeah.
That's like an old improv trick. Like as you're repeating it back, you're like, "Oh, your family hates questions." Like, so there's a lot of
Yeah.
games you guys don't play then. Like it would have just
Yeah.
yeah. So that's like something I wanna like repeat back what people say to me for the audience and to give me a moment to like come up with something better.
Sure. That's a great sort of like instinct. One, to make sure the rest of the audience has heard it. Two, to buy time. And I'll say the same thing to you that I was saying to AJ. Hey, check out my stand-up review video with AJ to see me saying this to him. But one of the blessings with Laughter Party is we get a lot of new material, but we also have to see material, sort of like the birth by fire of them, is that like this is our first iteration of this, versus like, you know, if we'd been doing this, if like an average stand-up set, they've kind of been doing it for like a whole year, so like they would know, they would have sort of like already like, you know, done this birth by fire and figured out like, oh hey, I need to do this in this moment. So it's easy for us to sit in our chairs and Monday night quarterback it. I think we handled it really well considering how we're making game time decisions about it. I think we handled the tension of like, what's this audience member going to say? How do I react to it and resolve it? I think we do great. Yeah, we could do better, but the audience is digging us. So like,
I'm gonna be a hard ass on myself.
yeah. It's funny because the people that are too hard on themselves, I equalize and I go easier, and the people that are too easy on themselves, I'm like, so it is funny.
See, because when I get home, I'm from California. I don't live in my home state. Yeah. Everyone wants to ask me everything, and it can be kind of tricky to answer correctly. So this year I took a different approach, and I just decided I would.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause here. Like, I don't know how, but like, yeah, this setup is it's like, it's this.
It's too long.
I do like the woo that we're getting from the audience, but we have been sort of like, I have been saying things for a short second, at least introing into this joke.
Yeah. I also think, well, like, it's literally going to play out like right after that, but I think I did need to clarify that, like, oh, hey, I'm going to be like entirely honest, because then people like I needed to say, like, then they would think I was being sarcastic or to throw them off or something.
Sure,
Like,
yes.
I think it sort of needed like one more explanation. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think we just need to find a sub game more. Like that moment we play with the audience, maybe we need to blow that. Like, I'm not from my home state. Yeah. Who's from New York or whatever? And play a game there to slowly get here without making the audience take too much medicine before we get back to the candy.
Be exceptionally honest. Working? Yeah, I sell sex toys online. And I also get 40% off. Looking at you, Auntie Mary. Living? Yeah, kind of well. Still have a roommate nearing 40. It's cool. Traveling? Just mushroom trips for me this year. It does count. Seeing anyone? Nope, not when they blindfold you. Settling down, maybe when the Adderall wears off. Kids? No, plan B is my health plan. But kids? Have I shown you a picture of my cat? Kids, he has a sweater. Kids.
Okay. So
This is painful.
yeah. So one
I
thing
hate
that
it. It's just not fast enough.
Oh, well, one thing that I think, interesting. Yeah, one way we could is if we keep just this performative version of it, we could crank up the speed and make it feel like less space there. Or we could be playing with the audience more in between. The very first thing we say, the audience gives us a huge reaction that we don't really touch, so they're sort of being trained like, oh, we're gonna sit and listen, and we do small call-outs. But like, watch, if we go back to the beginning of this, we could have been fueling that, and so every single one of these moments could be like, this thing, blah, blah, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh, hey, a thing I'm saying to you, a thing I'm saying to you, instead of it feeling like the audience is just waiting for us to finish lists. Like, watch.
Sex toys.
Oh, I feel like I was waiting. I
Oh.
hate it.
Exceptionally honest. Working? Yeah, I sell sex toys online.
Yeah, and you've all bought them. Oh, yeah. Ooh.
And I also get 40% off. Looking at you, Auntie Mary.
I do like that too. I do like that as a play. I do look at you, Auntie Mary, and it's not just for her; it's for you. Like, I think if we were playing more with the follow through, feel how big the audience reacted to that first one, and we do have the small audience play. Great.
Yeah, kind of well. Still have a roommate nearing 40. It's cool.
Oh, that's not. Oh, sex toy. Back to sex toys. If we just checked in with the audience with the reaction instead of keep plowing through, I think we could have made the list feel more alive. So sorry, you have something in your mind?
No, sorry, my roommate was coming out. I was like, wait, don't do your dishes now. Just just leave it.
Thank you. No worries.
It's funny, we're talking about roommate stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah. Mention the devil, and he shall appear.
Yeah, I mean, I had such low-hanging fruit there because like Rolly was my roommate for 7 years, and he's like sitting in the audience, so I could be
Sure.
like, this guy knows. Like, he lived with
Yeah.
me for 7 years, and he's like 38, so you know,
If, and if you did that joke, you can be like, "This guy knows. He hasn't lived with me, but after tonight, maybe." And then like, you
yeah.
could even, yeah. But I think that's what's missing in the second, third, fourth iteration of this. The audience isn't feeling like it's a live conversation, so they're like, "Oh, this is clever," but I guess I will wait for end of list, and so then the list becomes
Yeah,
so big.
it's
That's
deep.
it's not boring, but it's not live and sort of like risky and violent and in a good connotation. Uh,
Hmm.
Just mushroom chips for me this year. It does count. Seeing anyone? No, not when they blindfold you. Settling down, maybe when the Adderall wears off. Kids, no, Plan B is my health plan. But kids, have I shown you a picture of my cat? Kids, he has a sweater.
Yeah, I think with
Kids,
kids because we were doing one with all the other ones. I think we can't get away with the 3 for kids.
Yeah.
I think is what it is. At least from chat, there is a little confusion about this structure that we're mentioning. Like, hey, my family's asking me questions, category and answer. But I'll say that like we went through different iterations of this, and maybe there's a more optimized way. But this is sort of the perfect version we could find that wasn't too fatty on the explanation side and allowed us to pay off. So
Yeah.
maybe this, yeah.
I think it definitely needed like faster. Like I don't even like that. Like before almost every answer, I'm saying like or like
Oh,
I'm
sure.
like it was also just because like I was like a little unprepared. I didn't have like a lot of time to practice it beforehand. But like
Sure.
that could have been punchier faster, and it definitely could have had like hey, like a question or like topic, answer, talk to the audience, like some joke on it, and like do that pattern just so they were like, oh, something's gonna happen, and then like I'm also gonna get a treat.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We did talk about so chat is saying also the premise is huge. So like, what do you lie about? Yes, we could definitely delve into the audience more. But the unfortunate part about this laughter party is people didn't have as much time. We were more time constrained. So
Hmm.
sort of all the comics across the board sort of limited their crowd work because it blows up your time real fast. So that's sort of on me. Why I would be willing to bet in the normal laughter party you would feel more comfortable doing that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also could have just like nixed some
Oh,
topics out of this one, or like removed like the baby drinking game or something, you know.
spoilers.
Sorry,
Those-
sorry.
no,
Oh,
no,
my bad.
no.
I think maybe you saw my recent search history, and breeding porn is not quite the same. So, yeah.
Yeah, if we just done kids and that was the only payoff, it would come out of nowhere. Considering how the more like the other spawns, I think it would have landed more than watering it down with the other kids
Hmm.
mentions. Yeah.
I'm obviously the last person who should have kids for many reasons. Mostly because I would crush the baby on the way out with my vagina muscles. I would just pulverize the skull. I'm kidding. That's so crazy.
So sorry, you're laughing at it? Your thoughts?
It's like something that I like almost like took out of there, but I feel like it got like some of the better laughs, or
Oh,
I don't know. It's a very crazy claim now that I'm like watching it all back. I'm like, oh, I just told people I'm like that's just so
Uh, uh, from chat, pulverized is a great word. And also, chat, an act out with a ping pong ball thrust. Yeah, you could probably get some like.
If
If
I
you
just
want to go
had
there,
one
you
in
could.
my pocket that I tossed
Oh,
out, that would have been nuts. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
not
Oh,
nuts. It would have been pelvic
yeah, yeah.
pulverizing,
Yeah,
but
I do like the idea of just having a ping pong ball in your pocket and just dropping it when you say it. But yeah, also to chat, that's a different show with a much higher ticket price. Something else chat pointed out is when we're doing the list of category thing, you say travel, just mushroom trips for me. Chat tried to posit instead of travel may saying any trips, just mushroom trips, and I'm of two minds about that. On the one hand, it does do trips and trips, which like makes it more parallel, but it does sort of like burn the word of trips. So it's sort of like trips. It doesn't mean as much like travel and then throwing mushroom trips. I don't know. I could be convinced either way. Your thoughts?
I still like travel to trips, especially because, um, like, I don't know, it just had kind of like a similar verbiage in terms of like categories. Like, I was really actually struggling with
Sure.
like living
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
like I was like, do you say like apartment? Do you say like house? Like that one tripped me up when I probably should have just like cut it out.
Sure.
But even still, it's like working, traveling, like living, like those are all
Yeah,
those kind
the
of things.
genres is
As a
hard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure. I could agree with that. Yeah. I kind of like travel to trips, but I do also see the benefit in trips to trips. I think it's just a matter of taste. Also, via shrooms, a true staycation.
Yes, I will stay inside, trapped inside my own body while screaming to get out.
Yeah.
And also, if you
uh,
said matter of taste, I'm like, you don't want to taste them. You take them with orange juice, just crush them up, put them in the orange juice to swallow.
also from chat, escape the room. Escape the shroom.
And
Great,
like,
great, great.
I've just like written myself a cryptic note before I took them, and somehow that's like the
That's the
instructions
clue.
on how to get
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
yeah, that's fun. Okay,
Like
continue.
maybe a ping pong ball, but not a skull. Realistically, I've never had that urge. Like I like kids, I just don't want to have any. So when I was home, I got to
Ooh, there might be an analogy here. Like I like kids, I just don't want to have any. Like I like cars, but I don't want to own one. Or like I like blank, but wait, like there probably is some sort of analogy
Yeah,
if we
where
wanted to.
you're like, I like driving to the beach, but like I don't want to park a car in New York City. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's that
Oh,
kind of stuff.
yeah. Or clean it, change its oil. Yeah, you
Hmm.
could really get. Yeah.
Yeah,
with my
specifically a car that's like real easy to go off on.
Also, chat who was at the show. The flip on loving being at the kids' table was amazing in the moment. Didn't seeing that coming. Also, spoilers. Everyone, spoilers.
Oh my God, you guys spoil me.
my
Yeah.
best friend who just had a baby. She's 10 months. She's super sweet. She thinks my face is hilarious, so she's obviously gifted. And, I'm a good friend. I want to help my friend. And I said, hey, I'll watch the baby and you can go take a shower. And she was like, Dana, I love you, but no. Which is fair.
Oh, I might be gilding the lily too much, but there could even be a version of this where it's like Dana, I love you, but like, no, like in fact, step back, like get away from my baby, like get like showing that she has a baby and how much she's like no, like
Oh
no.
my, but
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
just got like you're left holding the stalks. You're like, oh.
Yeah, if it was a skit or a movie, a theatrical version of this, 100%. But no, and Chad is really liking the both the delivery of but no and the word economy of but no. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I do like that.
I had to practice it a couple of times so I didn't like just fuck it up.
Yeah. Great.
It's very fair because the night before I had tried to make a drinking game out of watching the baby. It's very simple rules, right? Okay. She gets a bottle. We get a bottle. She drinks. We drink. She screams. We drink. She claps. We drink. She smiles. We drink. She poops. That's shots. And then everyone passes out at the same time, and most of us wake up crying. So.
Okay, your thoughts on this before I delve into it.
I think I could have done like one more fast, like she smiles, we drink, dun, dun. But I did like how it was like slow,
Yeah.
slow, quick, 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 something different. And
Yeah.
so I liked the pace of this.
Yeah, as far as the formulaic structure of the written words, the joke, and then the performance of like the theoretical version of those jokes, I like it. I 100% agree with that. I do feel it's suffering a little bit too much of what like our other sort of like list was, that it's not alive. We're not playing with the audience or checking in with the reactions to it. So it's sort of like a dead. They're watching. They could basically be watching us perform this on video, and it would be functionally the same to how we performed it here, because we didn't delve into their reaction. So there's not that danger that is good for making the audience feel a lot. So like that's the only thing it's missing. But as far as like if I was like, hey, can I give the prototype of what stand-up should be and avoid? 100%, yeah. It's just missing that live element.
Yeah. I mean, I think it could be like if you've set it up enough, like, oh, she drinks, we this, we this, we that, like then you could be like, she poops, and like kind of get everybody to be like, we drink, and then be like, no, we take shots.
Yeah. Yes.
That's like how I would have played that if it was like, bring the audience in more.
Sure.
And as someone who happens to be a lister, that's like a good thing I need to work on in there, is making my list like more interactive.
Yeah, the lists are great, and they give the audience exactly a like, oh, I know where we're going, and we have a structure to play off of and break and then return to, and we are very good at coming up with multiple funny payoffs. But if we are not using the audience, then eventually the audience starts to feel that, and they're like, oh, I will now politely listen because this is something I'm watching instead of intrinsically the second partner of the performance of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for the extra clap on that. I mean,
you see how that call out to the real audience is about to get an applause break?
Should I patent it? Like
that was getting equal laughs to our actual material a second ago. So
Mm-hmm.
Ideally we put them together.
I'll write it out and I'll share it with the world. It's funny to me because apparently I'm not to be trusted with kids, yet when I go home, I get sat with the kids at dinner. Like, does anyone else have this? There's an adult table and a kids table? Yeah? Yeah.
I just like the fact that the first person to say yeah for the kids table was the deepest voice I've ever heard in my. I mean, like, this audio source is removed from you, so you might not have heard it, or like it. But it's just funny. Like, anyone heard the kids table? Yeah.
I think that was my friend Odin.
Oh, okay. If we could have clocked that, that could have been fun to play with.
I'm not to be trusted with kids, yet when I go home, I get sat with the kids at dinner. Like, does anyone else have this? There's an adult table and a kids table? Yeah? Yeah? This is our kids table here at Batsu. I mean, I think they exist everywhere. I was just being polite asking. Come on, you guys, you know the deal. You're like...
Okay, thoughts on the whole bring up the concept of kids table, and then using our friends as the kids table. Coward, not using strangers. Coward.
Oh, I thought that was like the joke, and because I was meaning to say like that's why like my people got sat there.
If you had
then
added
those
to that,
words
yeah.
didn't come out of my mouth.
Oh.
I was like. Then, like, I don't know, everyone was like, ooh, yeah, like, kids table, like, we all know the kids table, and I'm like, okay, yeah, everybody gets it, like, I was just being polite, asking if you'd heard of it, I just got like a little distracted by like the audience reaction, but I had meant to
Sure.
say like that's why like my people are sitting there because it's
Sure.
our kids' table.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
And then
I
I feel
like.
like it wasn't like enough energy going into this like next bit, and
Okay, okay. Well,
it's like this next line I don't like.
Hey, look at me do this thing. Don't look, because it's going to be something really boring you've already seen before.
It was like,
that
okay.
that's. I mean, that was a big. I mean, it's not like a bah, but that was a pretty mid full audience laugh.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like my dad literally, like when my nieces are like, Papa, Papa, like, look at this. He turned to me and he's like, he was so mad. He's like, they're gonna do the same fucking thing. I've already watched them. He's like, they're not doing anything. Like, he was so mad about it. So I was like, oh, I should be like a little bit mad. And then I'm just like not a mad person. So either way, it was fine.
Yeah.
It didn't have, it could be there, it didn't need to be there.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know why. In my family, like, if you don't have a kid, you are a kid. So until you birth, like, some sacrifice tribute to take your place, like, you are at... You're there.
So thoughts on that joke, which we went through a lot of, word crafting back and forth on that.
I like the way the words crafted out. And oh, let's see it. Did it do that? Because I did that.
Yeah, the app follows you. Yeah.
I was like, oh, apparently touching your arm looks
Oh, yeah. Discord's like, do more, please.
This guy's like, yeah, please rub your sore arm muscles. We like that. I, I liked it. I felt like good about like saying like, oh, tribute, and like people it seemed like got it immediately because it was a decent sized laugh for it.
Yeah. So the one thing I'll say is anytime in Laughter Party you hear me laughing big and clapping really big, it's me activating an applause break for the comedian. You could have activated that applause break for yourself. Like here, watch. Here, watch.
Sacrifice tribute to take your place, like, you are at... You're there.
So the audience starts to clap. I'm like, oh, this can be activated. So then I try to woo it. Then they clap a little bit more.
Like it's like some.
If you had said, I guess I didn't fully activate that. If you had said thank you or permissed the applause in some way, the rest of the audience would have followed suit to the few trailblazers trying to start that applause break.
Yeah, I think it's because I hadn't like finished the sentence and people were already like laughing, so I was kind of like pausing to let that like die down, but instead of talking on top of like applause or laughter, because I was like, until you burn like sacrifice, you are stuck at, and I got to at, and people were like, woo, so I was like, you stuck there.
Yes. So we have a question from chat that comes up a lot. What's a good alternative to thank you to activate an applause break? It's any sort of permission. It's any sort of permission from the audience about like, oh, you like that one, or like even like a head nod, or even like you can even indicate silently like a okay, yeah, anything that basically says like a I am allowing you to applause. Like I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. You like that one? Oh, give it up for table one. Any sort of acknowledgement. And I'll say to the end about like finishing the joke. I would say always harvest applause breaks. Even if you have to go back and say and repeat another sentence, always train the audience to give the applause break, because then it gets easier to get the next one and the next, and each subsequent one becomes easier. Versus like if the audience feels stilted on one, then they would be trained to be like, okay, I applaud 1, 2, 3 times, and that's all that this comedian wants. I say, but I do get the idea about like I'm mid logical idea, I'm like mid word, I'm like mid sentence, and it does feel really weird to be like, okay, no, let audience do its thing and then come back. Like it is a thing that like
Yeah.
I know it is, that we don't do it really in our daily life, so like it is something that we have to like watch out for.
Yeah, in that moment I was like, I'll just like let this like noise happen and not try to talk on top of it. I just didn't want to like bulldoze anyone. Yeah.
And then going to chat. Oh, table one has felt done. I don't understand your question. E.g., I was saying like, oh, table one is feeling it as far as an acknowledgement instead of thank you. To like you call out those pair like this guy gets it. Is like that. That's the angle I was going at with that type of permission. If you want to do things other than thank you.
Yeah, I could have been like, oh, like this table's about it already. Like they're already sold on the kids' table.
Yeah. I'll get you guys some chicken tenders. Yeah, Luna. Yeah. You could 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of fucked up immersion therapy that my mom's trying. Like, and I don't exactly know what she's
Okay.
getting at because the kids' table rules. Like, who would ever want to leave?
Thank you on immersion therapy because someone asked me after, they're like, what was that thing you said about the kids table that it was your mom's? Like, I was like, oh, fucked up immersion therapy, and they were like, yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Someone really liked that.
Yeah. I found, at least recently, anytime we use the words of like the mental health like button words, audience always vibes with the sets. Always, because like someone's either like talking about that or has a friend talking about it. Like they've been resonating really well, at least with New York crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's in therapy. Yeah, exactly. New York crowds, yeah. Go down south and people are like, what are these words that you're talking about? What are these concepts?
How do you spell that? Therapy?
Yeah, the rappy? No, I don't listen to the rappy.
Ever want to leave the kids' table? And let me ask you a few questions. Do you want to take on the responsibility of leading grace for the whole table? No. No, you don't. And at the kids' table, we don't bow our heads. We don't link our sticky hands together and pray while our food gets cold. No, we dig in. We just start that shit right away.
Oh, the audience? Table drum? Like, yeah, we table drum. Like, you can start calling things out in the room, like, if to feel that. But one second, the audience is loving this, and this is, like, we're doing a great job, but opportunities if we want to, like, add to the speech and make it feel live in the moment.
And you? Do you want to work your way from the outside in on that silverware under the constant pressure that you're maybe using your dessert fork instead of your salad fork? No, hell no. No. And at the kids' table, that meal comes pre-cut. That is bite-size to be eaten with your hands as the good Lord intended. Can I get a fuck you, Emily post? Fuck you, Emily post. All right, and you. Do you want to engage?
I love the playing with the form of how we get the end you. If this was longer, I love like a who are you?
You're
like,
gonna
you know,
have to
like
describe what you're doing to me.
Just yeah. What I was doing is I was like spinning my arms around, then like lifting my leg up, then like shooting the and you like under my leg. I love this idea of like, you know, we're not only building the bit as in like the and yous and the concepts are growing, but also the physical manifestation of how we're doing the and you. Everything is growing. We're playing with the whole game, not just half of it. So I love this idea about like the spinning around and you moving the finger. Maybe like you point at the next person. No, yeah, and you.
Yeah.
I love that game. So yeah.
I was gonna say it makes me wish that for the next person, just spoiler alert, that I had like physically touched somebody.
Oh.
Like you know how they're like,
yes.
And what would have been, I mean, it's a little hard when you're holding a microphone.
Yeah.
Like I realized I'm like, oh shit, like I can't put it down. If there was like some way to like be like, let me ask you a few questions and like set the microphone down and put on like the headset kind of mic, that would have been fucking nuts. But I literally just thought about that right now. I'm like, oh, that would have freed up my hands and I could have been way more tan crouch. Anyway, she's a televangelist.
Yeah. I'm reacting to chat. I think chat is seeing themselves in the audience and reacting to their reaction to your things.
All right, and you. Do you want to engage and heated talk around politics and social constructs? No! Away with you, demon speak! At the kids' table, we will speak only of cats. And maybe boo-boos.
And maybe boo-boos caused by cats.
Yeah, I could have had it caused by cats.
Yeah.
Now I can sense you have a problem.
Like that, I wanted to like touch their head.
Oh yeah, and you, yeah, 100%. I agree with that instinct. Yeah.
Annie, do you want to rationally talk out those feelings and explain what you're feeling? No. And at the kids' table, you can feel free to scream and cry while simultaneously choking on a dino nugget.
Yeah, you see, we have a sort of nod. This is the full, like the first really big full applause break. I think the audience feels permissed, and also our energy is ramping, so the audience is matching our energy. But this once again, great bit, great. It's a full song and dance, but it comes from a real place, so we get away with it. Love this bit. And do you want to talk about like how we got to this from the sort of like the process steps?
Oh my gosh. I mean, this was like literally an hour before I was like, am I going to Braveheart it or am I going to televangelize it? Because again, I'm a lister. This had been a list. So it was like, hey, at the adult table, like you have, real booze and stuff, but at the kids table, you get Martinelli sparkling apple cider. So it was this like, this is how it is at the adult table. This is how it is at the kids' table, and back and forth with things that were supposed to make you like the kids' table more. But like, it's not like those particularly ramped. Like the answers weren't getting like bigger or grander or better. Like I think they kind of all had the same weight. So it was feeling really like flat and boring. Yeah. And then as I was talking to you the night before, having my panic that my set got boring, I was like, well, I guess I could ask like the audience more like, oh, do you want to use like silverware or do you want to eat with your hands? And just in our like laughing back and forth about it, it turned into like a Braveheart speech. And I was like, oh shit, maybe I should like watch Braveheart. But like from that, just like the idea of rallying got like, that was like so much more enticing, so much more exciting too, because then it also was going to like get the audience reacting like with you and building up with you. And like, I don't know, anything they say, like if they're like, not really, you could be like, of course not really, not even not really, just not. Like, you could just you could make all of their reactions.
Yes. Does the youth even know Braveheart now? Yeah, I don't know, chat. But yeah, I love. There's so many like. It's such a good performative bit. The audience gets what we're doing. It feels real. There's so many safety valves. It'll serve you well. And I imagine if we plan to do more lists in the future, it's a trick we can use in other instances. I would love to see the Dana rally at the end of every set, no matter what it is with the like. I mean, once again, I don't think I'd get tired of it. I'd love to see the same set about, your cat, about soap, about any, like, I would watch someone do this to any fun subject, really.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be dirty. Yeah, what would I wouldn't be like pastor, what is it when they're, no, I guess they're, Pastor Dana doesn't sound good though.
Yeah. I don't know. I almost rally leader. Oh, no, that doesn't sound good either. Never mind.
Father Dana.
Father Dana is kind of funny.
Do you want to clear your plate or do you want to watch Frozen 2? You come to the kids' table and Elsa will be yours. Now, I want you all to look deep inside yourselves. And I want you to think, the next time you go home and you are looking at that table filled with steak knives and real booze, are you going to cave? No. Are you going to give in? No. Are you going to sit with your fertile family? No! You will sit in the glory that is the kids' table, am I right? Woo! Not to rip off somebody else's set, but can I get an amen? Amen! Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Amen.
Okay, your thoughts on the culmination of that and in your final moment, and then I'll talk about it.
I loved it for an ending because I mean, I guess I grew up like going to like Lutheran church where it's not big like that, but
Sure.
I like it's got a lot of like singing and dancing, so I understand like that energy build, and then to bring it all to this like close. It's like always like getting people into these moments where you get them all worked up and then you're like, all right, let's bring it back down.
Yeah.
Let's like look inside ourselves. So that was really fun to do. I think the like fertile family thing got confusing because some people were like, yeah, wait, no, because it's a thinker to be like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
saying like the people who have already had kids. So that could change, but I liked it. I wish I even, I don't know, had I like had more time to practice that, I think I could have really hit some of those like televangelist tropes even more.
Sure.
Like again, so like something like, you know, I could like point at someone and be like, oh, I can sense this. It would have been way more powerful to like put your hand on someone's forehead. Like you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just like these like bigger
Exercising the adult out of them. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I love it. I do agree. It could be smoother if we rehearse it more, but it's great. The audience is with us. The one thing I just like stand up technique wise is once we finish that bit, Dana like checks out and she's like I'm putting mic away. I'm getting off stage. I am not connecting with audience. Like watch you just like getting in the process of getting instead of being like thank you guys. Oh, I love you. I appreciate you. Like watch us as soon as we finish this bit versus getting off stage here.
Table, am I right? Woo! Not to rip off somebody else's set, but can I get an amen?
I do like that call out.
Amen! Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Amen.
Not looking at them, not reacting to them, not smiling at them. Oh, also something from chat. Can I get a no men? If we can relate it back to not breathing, there might be an opportunity about that. But yeah. Ideally, in our walkout moment, we are connecting and thanking the audience for like, thank you for inviting me to your party. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon. Instead of like, oh, okay, I'm done. No, don't look at me.
Yeah. Shoot, there was something else I was going to say too. Oh, so I did feel like, oh, because someone else had done something televangely, I had to be like, oh man, like I'm not trying to steal somebody else's set, but like the only thing I kind of like regretted about that later is like, if you look at this out of context, people don't know what that is. So it's like,
Sure.
it's just like an odd thing to have in there if like I'm playing this clip and someone didn't see the whole show or like, no.
Yeah, you
Because
have to
then-
you have to do a caption like this is a callback to someone else, like something. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, just so they're like, wait, like what of this is stealing from someone else? Like, I don't know. It just like opens it up to someone being like, wait, something about this isn't right.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. As far as like for like marketing, internet clips purposes, that is the bad part about making callbacks to other parts of the night is that audience doesn't have context. They're gonna hear things weird, and there's no way unless you add literally like an addendum in words on the screen at that moment. If you were gonna do the set again, and hey, it's a great set. Maybe we have to wait around the holidays again. But if you're gonna do the set again, what would you definitely do again? What maybe would you change? Just general thoughts of sort of like tying this whole sort of episode in a bow. Like final thoughts.
I don't know. Like I was overall, aside from I think the ending was super fun. So whether or not it's doing a kids table again or just something else that kind of like builds has that energy, even like back on like a televangelist or Braveheart kind of way, would totally keep that. The holiday questions, I think, just didn't work. I probably wouldn't like repeat that unless I was like really gonna practice those and like get a pacing better. I don't know.
And
It
it
just
doesn't sound like you want to.
not entirely. I mean, thinking on it now, like, oh, if there were like more sides and connection with the audience, like maybe, but I don't know that it was like all that wonderful. I'm surprised at how well pulverizing the baby skull went. I would do that again, but probably with more of a set around like the idea of babies in general. Like I have a lot of weird content on that. And
So,
drinking game was fine. I don't know that it needs to be there. I don't know.
Yeah, from chat and from me, I think the questions is a great premise. I absolutely love it. Chat agrees. This is one of the problems with improvisers that walk into stand up. We're so used to being like, okay, that didn't work. Well, I never have to do that again. It's like the premise has legs. There definitely is gold, and then there are hills. But I understand how we're like, no, we just edit that, and we never have to think about it again. But like, it definitely one thing we don't have to. It's arbitrary, but I don't want us to just like arbitrarily abandon it. But also, if we're not feeling it, we don't have to delve back in. But absolutely love it. Also,
Yeah.
chat likes the drinking game too. The chat says don't drink, don't drop anything. Keep it all. Yeah. So
I will say like I kind of went into this being like, oh, this is like holiday specific, even though I understand that it's not. Like there's so many ways to be like, oh, I went to a baby shower and everyone's like asking people like, oh, what do you do? And like when people ask me questions, I don't really know how to answer honestly without like embarrassing myself. Like
yep.
I actually just do it really honestly and then nobody believes me.
Sure.
So that's like the way to get back into that for something else. Like, I mean, obviously we did like a Halloween show and I did something about ghosting. Like ghosting can happen anytime. It just happened to be good around then because it was Halloween. Yeah, I watched that again and I also cringed, but
Sure. What I would I mean like one thing I've told other people and I would tell you, maybe this will help, even though if you've heard this from me, no worries, but chat, maybe you haven't heard this from me. Um, uh, uh, so where was I read chat and I got stun locked out of my thought. What were we talking about? What were we just talking about? I just came back
not
from another planet.
like not throwing things away.
That's not what it. Fudge. Oh, cringing. Okay, I watched my sets from 10 years ago, and I cringe at myself. I don't cringe at the writing. The writing, I would still been doing comedy for 14 years. Writing's not half bad. It has structure. It is the best. No. What I'm cringing at is all these tiny micro decisions that I'm doing wrong. I'm not playing with the audience. I'm not activating applause breaks. I'm not checking in. I'm not spinning things correctly. I think the audience gets it when they don't get it. I would rather do original William 12 years ago stand up with my performative skills than my best written material today with 12 years ago performing skills. So like a lot of the cringe could be that we didn't make it as live of a dialogue, and in which case it doesn't matter what we do until we add that piece. We're still going to cringe at that material. So it's more of like we don't need to fix like the words that we're writing. Maybe we just need to tweak like the way we're attacking it performatively.
Yeah.
Just a thought for the room.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like most of it's like good content. It's more in like delivery or pacing or I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, ew, why did I make that face? But that's also kind of crazy because I think about it and like with pole, you get to practice where there's like a mirror and you can like see what you're doing. But then when you're performing, the mirror is at your back, like when there's like an actual audience. And so you also need to like practice it that way when you can't see like your face. you do the weirdest shit, and then you just have to like watch it once and see that you did it, and then you're like, cool, never doing that
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
that super helped is like right when I was like actually like getting into pole and doing it more was still COVID, so people were wearing masks.
yeah.
So in like my young days where like you're making really weird faces when you're like trying to like hold yourself or something, like thankfully it was covered. But like
Yeah. Uh, great. So my overall note would be like, yeah, we found some great structures that we can just put new lists into, and we can sort of like drag them, like keep doing those ad nauseum until we're tired of them. I think the material, I like it. I think all the premises have legs. I think maybe it's just keeping it alive, of that alive feeling with the audience, maybe more, and then it won't. It'll feel better when you watch it back. I promise. But if we had a little bit more of that magic spice in there. Hey, by the way, guys, if you are, and girls and everyone who is watching, if you've made it this far, please give us a like. Give us a comment, a subscribe, hit that noti bell if you want to look at any of our comedy. Our socials will be in the description, and you should be seeing more opportunities for other videos to watch right now. Thank you for checking out A Stand-Up Analysis, is what chat voted should be the better name. But thank you guys so much, and catch us. Watch more episodes.